Eddie has always been one of my favorite people, and I was happy to see that both his and David's solo career was taking off. Eddie and I were lovers for a brief time. Why you niggas ain't tell me that? I didn't know that. I swear sometimes y'all be lacking. Y'all be slacking. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. For all of you who have already contributed large amounts or small amounts, I truly appreciate it because it's you all that contribute to the Cash App that tells me that you believe in what we're doing over here on the YouTube. Okay? Not that my subscribers don't matter, but when it's time to pay a bill, that Cash App does help. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Let me say this to my monthly paying members. I so appreciate you all. You are another part of the reason as to why this channel continues. Because like I said, when it's time for me to pay a bill, you all always come through for me. Now, let's continue reading Mary Wilson's Supreme Faith. Right here, there's Rose, Roro. And let me see, it's Lulu. So keep in mind, when you're hearing grunts and stuff like that, that's Lulu and Robo. Like that. That right there. Don't charge it to my heart. Just know it's just my puppies. Well, Lulu going to be 4 January 14th. Roro is going to be 1 in May, honey. But that Lulu is always going to be my puppy. Always, always, always. Before long, Pedro and his things, all of them, arrived from Puerto Rico. I was too surprised to protest. My choices were to either live alone or let him stay. At first, I chose the latter. One day, after an argument, I told Pedro he should go back home, and when he tried to convince me otherwise, I lost control and slapped him. I'd never slapped anyone. He slapped me back, and I stood there stunned. No man had ever raised a hand to me before. I started hitting him back. For those moments, I felt like a stranger standing outside of my body, watching it all happen. When it was all over, Pedro wrote me a long note saying he was wrong and sorry. He wrote, "Let's try one more time." There were so many positive things about Pedro, such as his kindness and his boyishly romantic ways. Almost every day he brought me flowers or penned sweet little notes. In fact, most of the time Pedro was remarkably gentle and thoughtful. Well, baby, it be them manic joints. Them joints where they be like out of control and you like, who is this ninja? Why did I put myself in a situation where he's living with me now? You know, you done took on a burden that you don't even understand. But 9 times out of 10, ladies, we see the signs. We just ignore them because we're straight ahead looking for that fairy tale. Remember when that damn Tyler Perry told us 80-20? If the person is 80% of what you want and then 20% he out of pocket, that's when you should realize, okay, maybe we can work things out, because in reality, nobody is 100%. But wait, what if that 80% is on the money, but that 20% is demonish, demon style? One of the first people to convince me that I could accomplish whatever I set my mind to. He really believed in me. He taught me to be strong. It bothered him that I feared so many things, including at times him. He showed me that my contribution to the Supremes wasn't like Diane's or Flo's. What I had uniquely contributed to the group was my gentleness, my love. However, in the atmosphere after Flo left, I found myself deeply hurt and vulnerable. So I retreated within myself. I felt I must survive at all costs. As strange as it sounds, Pedro helped me to reclaim that part of myself Motown had beaten down. Whatever it is you got to tell yourself to go to sleep at night. Because what Pedro saw, and I'm telling you this because the Texan saw so much vulnerability in me, and he stepped right in and took advantage of my lack of strength at the time. Then that time, when I was struggling with my mother passing, and to this day, y'all, I still struggle with a mild case of depression because I don't have my mother anymore, okay? And you got predators out there that'll see a vulnerable woman jump in place and take advantage even more. And I be saying to myself, just like I said to my ex, you ain't afraid of the Jesus? You ain't afraid of hell? You don't have no feeling of fear for the afterlife? Because you may be getting away with everything now on earth in this life. But what happens when you die? Late Saturday afternoon, I went over to Flo's house. She said she was very happy for me, but that I needed a man in my life. Her twin girls climbed all over their Auntie Mary, and one threw up on my shoulder. The rest of the day, I could think only about how badly I wanted my own baby. When I got home, I read the Bible for a while, then fell asleep. Eddie Kendricks came by the next day, and we drove over to visit David Ruffin. Eddie has always been one of my favorite people, and I was happy to see that both his and David's solo career was taking off. Eddie and I were lovers for a brief time. Why you niggas ain't tell me that? I didn't know that. I swear sometimes y'all be lacking, y'all be slacking. Because I knew that Diana was on that. Remember when Eddie Kendricks and Diana was creeping around? And she went around there to one of Eddie Kendricks' houses, and luckily Eddie Kendricks' wife wasn't there to snatch her up and kick her in the pussy. But the neighbor said, you got Diana Ross out here banging on your door, But luckily Eddie and his wife wasn't there that day. So what the hell? Is it a whole bunch of just passing around? Well, y'all did tell me that Motown was a merry-go-round. Anyway, I'll move forward. Like any two Motown artists, when they got together, we compared notes, talked about what was happening, and dished a few folks. Eddie was a rebel who spoke his mind. When I told him what was happening to the Supremes and how I was beginning to take over the business, he said, Mary, you have to keep at it and don't give up, no matter what happens. Los Angeles, Mom pulled me aside. Though she rarely interfered in my life, she said, I like Pedro very much, but I don't think you should marry him. Mary is in her late 20s, early 30s. She's still not mentally there yet. Because I'm going to tell you, through all my mistakes in life, I did not get a good grasp on who I was and what the world was, I'm going to tell you, or is, I'm going to tell you, until I was about 50. I might have thought I knew. I might have knew maybe 50%, but my eyes weren't completely open until I became 50, because I could reflect back on all my mistakes I made in life and be honest with myself about what was really happening. I stopped blaming other people and said, well, girl, it was what it was. It is what it is. Sometimes I was in predatorial situations, but for the most part, I could have intervened. So there are times that I could look back at my life as a teenager or a young person in my 20s, where a person, male or female, I feel like was dogging me, and baby, I was not looking at myself with pure eyes. Okay, I wasn't looking at myself saying, well, okay, he had a baby on you, but basically y'all been cheating on each other the whole time. It's just you used precaution, Or when I mess with females, I expected a female to make sacrifices for me that I wouldn't make for her. I was very selfish and self-absorbed when I was younger. And when I look back at those times as an adult, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be with me, So there are a lot of times where I can reflect back on my past self and be honest with my past self and say, well, girl, you wasn't the victim in that. No matter how you paint that picture, you was doing your thing too. So I can't be around here saying I've been dogged my whole life when 50% of the time we was dogging each other. She's still very young. She's still making bad decisions. But one thing he doesn't have is own money. And baby, you need someone who can afford to take care of you. I don't want to meddle in your business, but why don't you just wait a while? Or go back to the Flippity Wilson. That's what you should do. Go back to Flip Wilson. Flip, you still want me? I want you. This thing wants you. Come on, Flippity. Let's get it back together. That's what you could do. But she's not there yet. She wasn't the only person with reservations. Several friends remarked that Pedro was just using me. Still, I knew him better than they did, and I loved him. In August, Jean, Linda, and I opened at the Southern California amusement park, Magic Mountain. It was one of our best engagements ever. Knowing that Jean was quitting and possibly Linda too made it a bittersweet occasion. The irony was that they didn't want to leave the Supremes so much as leave Motown. I knew from experience that once someone's mind was made up, that was it. Flo taught me that. All the disappointment and struggle had soured Jean and Linda, and I couldn't change that. Jean was finished with me. No matter what I said or did, she took it the wrong way. That's when you know it's over. Damn, bitch, I'm just asking you if you want a cup of coffee. Quietly making calls to other labels, and I talked to accounting firms about auditing Motown's books on the Supremes. I'd been considering an audit for a while. It was something Jean felt very strongly about. She once said they're not even keeping an accurate accounting. Don't tell me you can give me 2 pennies just because I was only making 1 at first, and that I supposed to be happy with it. Coming into Motown as an adult, Jean asked more questions, and she was right. I knew, though, that an audit wasn't something Motown would take lying down. Once you started it, you had better be prepared to finish it. If I proceeded, I would be one of the first artists in the label's history to audit. So many people had been hurt by the Motown system, and I saw what might well happen to me if I didn't get in there before it was too late. Here I was, having made millions for Motown, but out of the tiny fraction of the profits it gave me, I was terrified to spend a penny. Good. Around this time, oh girl, here go the tea. Remember I told y'all a couple of videos back about how Motown was promoting their artists and why their artists were so successful? You want to hear about it? Here you go.
Oh, my life.